This happened a few years ago. I was sent over to my friend's house to look after it while they went away for the week. The family was wealthy, living in more of a mansion than a house, situated in the affluent part of town by a beautiful lake. I was 21 at the time, and it seemed cool to be house-sitting a mansion for a week. The rules were simple: no more than 2 guests at a time and absolutely no parties. That was fine with me. The father's name was Derek, the only relevant name here. I was given a list of things to check on every night, including feeding the parrots and 2 cats, watering the plants and other tasks. Since my own house was half an hour away, I asked if I could stay in one of the guest rooms they had offered me before. On the first day, I arrived very late, so there wasn't much to go on for the rest of the week. After a morning of non-stop chores, I decided to take a swim in the pool in the back garden, which overlooked the stunning lake. Even though I had a whole week to enjoy this incredible house, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of jealousy. As I was in the pool, something caught my eye in the floor-to-ceiling windows. Someone was in the living room. I freaked out and quickly jumped out of the pool, grabbing a towel to dry myself off. I went inside and shouted, "Excuse me!" But there was nobody in the lounge. I went into the kitchen, and there stood a large man. He looked to be around 30 to 40 years old, just standing there as if he was waiting for me. I asked him why he was here and what he wanted, trying to come off as confident and composed. He said he was the cleaner, responsible for cleaning the floors every day. He introduced himself as Isaac, and I felt relieved. I replied, "My name is John, and I'm house-sitting for the week." Isaac's English wasn't the best, so he spoke in fewer words, saying, "I'm going to clean the kitchen floors now." I asked how he got in, and he said he had his own key, so I left him to it and went back to the pool. Later, after getting out of the pool, taking a shower and drying off, I fed the animals again. The parrots were easier to handle. I didn't see Isaac again that night, and I didn't want to disturb him anyway. My friends really wanted to see the mansion, so I invited 2 of them over. I gave them a tour, and we hung out in the game room, having some beers and playing air hockey. When I mentioned Isaac scaring me, my friends found it odd that Derek hadn't mentioned a cleaner. That was a good point. So I texted Derek to ask about Isaac. He didn't reply right away. My friends asked if they could stay over, but I wasn't allowed overnight guests. When they left, I got ready for bed. I checked my phone, and Derek finally replied, apologizing for the late response and saying he didn't have a cleaner. I texted back, mentioning Isaac the cleaner. Derek called me immediately, telling me there was no cleaner. He instructed me to hide while he called the police. I waited for them to arrive. They searched the entire house, but there was nobody else there. They left shortly after. I made sure all the doors and windows were locked and went to bed. It was very quiet, but then I heard a noise coming from under the bed. I looked under it, and there were 2 people there, Isaac and a woman, older than him, with his hand over her mouth. I ran to the door, and I could hear them crawling out from under the bed. I got in my car, called the police again, and once more there was nobody else there. I went home and never returned.